Welcome to the Leader's Edge podcast. I'm Sandy Laycox, Editor-in-Chief of Leader's Edge. In this episode, I talk with Kacie Conroy, Director of IT for M3 Insurance. Kacie is a serial technologist and has played a major role in the development of BrokerTech Ventures and the broker-focused agenda at the major Insurtech conference, InsureTech Connect. She shares her thoughts on tech development in the industry, how to reach future female talent at the start of their professional journey, and some sneak peeks from the upcoming BrokerTech Connect agenda at InsureTech Connect. Give it a listen. All right, Kacie, it is so great to be chatting with you today. I love always talking with you. We've had several conversations over the past few years, so thank you again for joining me.
My pleasure, Sandy. I always love connecting with you.
Well, we're going to jump right in. You are a serial technologist working in the insurance industry. So tell me what that has been like being the head of IT in an industry that has notoriously been slow to digitize.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think in some cases it feels like, two opposing sides, technologists and the insurance industry. What I would say is that things have really changed. Around the time that I came into the insurance industry, about 7 years, was really when, the insurtech industry was really starting to form and take shape. And that has been such a breeding ground for innovation in our particular space. So, historically, while that might have been the case, it's not the case anymore. There's a lot of new technology coming into our industry, and it's been such an awesome time to be a technologist in this space. And I would say that there's actually quite a few people like myself who are leading up, IT departments, and we don't come from in the insurance industry. We come from the technology industry, and I think that's because it's so attractive to be, in our industry during this time. You can marry your technology background with this new evolution that's happening in our space.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a very unique opportunity to take that background and not just be a part of our future, but to help shape that future. And I think a lot of us are feeling very excited about what's in front of us and the opportunity that we have going forward.
That makes a lot of sense as we hear more and more the need for more, data analysis and people with technology skills is what insurers are looking for. So it's got to be very exciting to be on that side of things.
It's so exciting. And I think that's where you're seeing a lot more technologists coming into the insurance space. And it's really now this blurred lines, which I absolutely love, of technology and insurance. It's really, the two coming together. And I think that's what's so powerful about what's happening in our space.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you've seen a lot of change over the past 7 years. What do you feel have been some of the most important digital developments that you've seen recently in the industry?
That's such a hard question to answer because there's so many, but I think there's a couple dominant ones that stand out. The first one, again, this is my technology background coming out. It's open modern tech stacks, and what I mean by that is, historically there was a very closed system. This is my system, and I don't share, anything outside of how it works or integrations, or data schemas, what have you. And that doesn't work anymore. A lot of us are trying to bring different technologies together to integrate, to have a very unified and great client experience. You have to have systems talk to each other in order for that to happen in an elegant way. And so this concept of being open to sharing, working together, it's a new change from this historically closed system, which is a very natural evolution. The tech industry saw it before. We're in this space now too. It's the world we live in, and everything is connected, everything is integrated. And so, now we're seeing with the insurtech space in particular, I think that's always a key leading indicator for me, is we're now seeing that these startups are saying, I do this really well, you do this really well, let's work together. And now we become more powerful together for, our prospective buyers saying, hey, I love both of your systems, but would really love it if you could talk to each other and, have like a tighter ecosystem. We're seeing that happen. Couldn't be more thrilled because that's solving problems we need them as technologists to figure out on our behalf. So I think that's going to open up a lot of doors. It's already opened a lot of doors, but it's going to continue to open more doors as this continues to take shape.
Mhm.
The other development I would say is artificial intelligence and robotic process automation.
Mhm.
That's a really exciting area that is happening, and in some cases there's still some, it's still a bit in its infancy, but I'm really bullish about this because we certainly as an industry have a lot of these types of processes that we want to streamline, we want to increase the efficiency, and AI and RPA together is a tremendously power concoction. And so that's one that, we're seeing take shape. And I think there's a whole lot more benefits yet to come there. So I'm keeping a close eye on that one.
Mm-hmm. Are you seeing AI? I know that RPA has been slowly but surely making its way through at least the brokerage community. Are you seeing AI in use in places?
I think it's starting to come in. The interesting thing is, in some cases, you don't always know that it's happening behind the scenes. But
Mm-hmm.
once you start to prod with different, startups and technologists in this area, they will tell you, well, actually, yeah, there's AI that's powering this.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things, it's a sleeper, Sandy, and so it's creeping in the background and it is doing a lot of really great automated work behind the scenes. But again, it's lurking in the shadows. And I do think there's going to be more coming, but we certainly are seeing some use cases coming into our industry. And, as it starts to prove itself more, I think you're going to see a whole lot more of it.
Mm-hmm. That'll be exciting to sort of keep an eye on as we see that come to life more. Um, are there any areas where you feel like we really need to be doing more work, where there's maybe a big gap in what's possible, where we're not quite there yet?
Yeah, I mean, I think the part of innovation is we're never done, right? Where it's the marathon that never ends. But I think in general, we're really trying to innovate across an entire industry. That's a long game. So we need to keep working on the collective distribution channel. There's a lot of partners involved with this. It's not a small goal to innovate an entire industry, but it's a worthy cause. And I think we have to continue to work together to remove the complexities with the many variations of how things are done. It's hard to scale innovation, of this magnitude when each integration, each business runs a little bit differently. You still need to honor that to some degree, but then there's a part where, we need to kind of wrestle with, how do we, and I don't want to use the word standardize because that comes with that's a loaded comment, but how do we, streamline some of those integrations, work together as a collective industry so that that flow of information, the client experience, it really works together as a complete industry. And so some of that is with integrations, with how we partner, with data flowing across that entire industry. That's where, we're working on that now. We'll continue to work on it, but that's what we'll need to continue to push the needle there.
Mm-hmm. And so I have to ask at this point, because it seems to go really hand in hand with what you're talking about, this collaboration across the industry to sort of look at every piece and see what innovation needs to occur there. You're a big part of the BrokerTech Ventures partnership. So just tell us how you became involved with that and what you think BTV is doing for the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. M3 is a co-founder with our lovely partner Holmes Murphy. Through that connection, our two agencies really worked together to build BTV from the ground up. We shared the same vision of wanting to create an ecosystem to really help spur more innovation in our industry. So it was a really natural, really lovely partnership. And it was through that connection where I really got to have my hand at helping shape BrokerTech Ventures from the ground up, which was very exciting. And, we very quickly were able to connect with other key partners who shared that same vision that we did. And, we'll be on our fourth year here. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Um, but, I think our vision has always been we wanted to create this ecosystem. We wanted to bring like-minded people together that represented that entire distribution channel that I was just talking about.
Mhm.
different perspectives on, what are you doing, what's working, what's not working, how do we work together on that ecosystem to really change our entire industry. And we've done that. We've worked really hard, and I can't believe how fast we've established BrokerTech
Yeah.
Ventures. It's been a very fast 4 years, but that's work that BTV has been a part of. We don't just want innovation to survive, we want it to thrive.
Mhm.
And all of the work that we've been doing with, how we invest through this accelerator, how we get them connected to customers directly, mentor them, give them advice of, this is a problem I need solved, or here's where I would love to see you focus. That's helping these companies help us too. And we're looking at it from every different perspective on that distribution channel. And that's what's needed to really help our industry propel forward.
Mhm. All right, so switching gears a little bit, InsureTech Connect has become a very well-known conference in the
Hmm.
industry, connecting insurtechs, insurers, investors. But there was something missing initially when it first came about, and you were instrumental in the broker-focused portion of this conference. So tell us how that happened.
Yeah, a little history lesson on that. So I had been going to InsureTech Connect. I think I started going like the second year it existed. And, being boots on the ground, it was like, one, it was amazing. Just seeing this community of people who want to shape, the innovation going forward. It was real. I will say, like, the observation that I had, walking around connecting with all these people was really challenging at the time to find who wants to work with us as a brokerage. We were a pretty new niche for that particular space. There were people who wanted to work directly with brokers, but it was a little bit like, finding a needle in a haystack. And so coming out of that experience, I was really bullish, and I thought, there's more of us. I know there's more of us. We just need to create that community and really come together. And so Jay Weintraub was one of the co-founders of ITC. And so I was just really bullish and reached out to him. And I said, hey, Jay, you don't know who I am, but your conference was amazing. My mind is reeling. I have this idea, or maybe, I have this opportunity where I'd love to see more of the brokerage community come together and, bring the technologists, bring the prospective clients together, and kind of walk through my experience on that. A huge credit to Jay. He was so open to that. He was like, yeah, let's do it. And it was through that experience that Jay and I got to co-create this concept. In the first year, we called it Agency Connect. And it was very similar to what BrokerTech Connect is today, but it was exactly that. We brought this community together that had that focus. And for the first year, we had several hundred attendees. We had really great panel discussions that really talked about the challenges that we faced, the opportunities that we were trying to chase down. And interestingly enough, random fact, when I was on one of the panels there, I was wearing a BrokerTech Ventures t-shirt because it was the next day we brought BrokerTech Ventures together and announced that BrokerTech Ventures was going to be formed. So I had that little Easter egg when I was on the panel, and then we announced BrokerTech the next day. And then going forward, we renamed it to BrokerTech Connect. So that's really how it came about.
And such a great forum for announcing that. And I remember being at that Agency Connect meeting for the first time, and it was very exciting and definitely a different lens on the content that had been there before. So I can't help but ask, since we are on the verge of the next BrokerTech Connect coming up in September, can you give us a little taste of what we might be learning and what's to come?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first, shameless plug, we've got sign up and registration for the BrokerTech Connect out on the InsureTech website. I would love to see more faces this year. So please sign up. Every year this has grown a lot, and we're really bullish on what we have planned for this year. So would love to see even more growth on that. I don't want to spill the beans too much, but I do love a good teaser, as you know, Sandy.
Yes.
So be prepared for new panelists with some really diverse topics that I would say virtually any participant can get value from. And, as, representing a female in technology, I will share that we are going to have a topic about women in InsureTech that I'm really excited about. We've got some really good panelists to talk on that, as well as the topic of venture capital and investing, which is a very timely discussion right now. So, there's going to be a lot of great topics. They're going to be meaty and they're going to be absolutely relevant to everyone involved. So I'm really excited about what we have planned.
Well, I think it sounds great, and I am excited as well. But before we go, I have one more question for you, which I can't help because you've written about this topic for us, and I know you're passionate about it. And you just mentioned the Women in InsureTech panel that's going to be going on. So you have long been an advocate for girls and women in IT. What are your thoughts on continuing to progress with gender equality, both in IT and in insurance, as we close this out?
Yeah, that's a great ending topic, Sandy. And, it's something that I've spent a lot of time being a part of. And, I think coming into the insurance space, I guess I didn't maybe appreciate or fully understand that really the technology and insurance industry, they're very similar in this arena, in the sense that it can be really hard to fully understand and immerse yourself in the different career paths in our industries.
Yeah.
I always grew up with people saying, "Oh, go into IT careers because they're great. They're great. It's a great career to go into." What does that mean? And the same is true of insurance, right? There's so many different career opportunities, which is what's so great about it. But the key is really helping people understand what those career paths are, helping each woman understand, well, this path is right for me because this is my level of interest. And it really comes down into sharing those career paths and talking about that early on. And it's far earlier than any of us expect. And, it really starts within middle school of having those intentional conversations. Hey, you might be, great at this particular career. Here are the skill sets that I can see you really excelling and give it some thought. It's not rocket science, but it's really about being intentional and starting early. I think all of us listening to the podcast would say we've all fallen in love with our industry. And the action item is we all play a role in connecting with other women on this. Start super early. Talk about what you love. We're the best billboards for the insurance industry. We just need to have more of those conversations. So, I think it's no different from what is happening within technology space, and we just have the same opportunity with insurance as well.
Well, I think that's great advice. And, I hope that the message gets out, and let's get into, these middle school and get talking about insurance with girls, and, just really showing that path, because there really truly is a lot of diversity within the industry, and you can really, take it in any direction that you want.
100%. It sells itself when you think about it, Sandy. We need to talk more about it.
Yep, totally. Well, Kacie, this has been so fun. I love chatting with you. I am very excited to see you soon in Las Vegas. And until then, I guess we'll just have to keep the conversation going.
Absolutely, Sandy. Thank you so much.
That was Kacie Conroy of M3 Insurance. I hope you enjoyed our conversation. You can find more Leaders Edge podcasts and other BrokerTech Ventures content at leadersedge.com.